حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل فيكم. هذا طعام الجهل. حسبنا الله. هذا طعام الاولاد. هذا عندنا الشعب. عندنا جاوبتونا الكلاب. جاوبتونا عقلية. هذا كيف عمل. ايوه كيف. ايوه. هذا يا حرام عليكم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل فيكم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل في الدولة العربية. المنطقة أولاد الإبصار جاني.
Israel started firing missiles into Iran first. Israel started killing the Iranian citizens first, not the other way around.
Who made America the moral police of the world? Who? See, America does not care about democracy. There's no country that they care about. There's no time that they've ever cared about democracy. Happening in Iran now is regime change. What happened in Syria was regime change. What happened in Libya was regime change. What happened with Sani Abacha? Regime change. What happened with Idi Amin Dada? Regime change. What happened with the first president of Ghana? Regime change.
Hello guys, you need to watch this video and see what is really happening in the world. Before we get into it, just hit the like button. Oh yes, the like button, just hit it. Are you done? Okay, share it for me. Share this video. Are you done sharing it? I appreciate it. Now, let's get into the video.
One question we should collectively ask ourselves is, who made America the moral police of the world? Who? Since they like to champion democracy, America does not care about democracy. There's no country that they care about. There's no time that they've ever cared about democracy. At least you would have seen podcasts about CIA agents saying they don't care about democracy. Once they see that you are not upholding their interests, now that time they will come with regime change. What is happening in Iran now is regime change. What happened in Syria was regime change. What happened in Libya was regime change. What happened with Sani Abacha? Regime change. What happened with Idi Amin Dada? Regime change. What happened with the first president of Ghana? Regime change. What happened with Cuba? Regime change. The world is extremely toxic to the point that if you don't have nuclear weapons, you cannot say no to them. That's what they think. Neocolonialism is a thing, bro. A proper thing. And you people that used to go to Saudi, they actually fund this genocide. Because it's your Saudi money, it's your money from pilgrimage. That Saudi has so much money from pilgrimage. They used to make, so at least, we've seen videos of Nigerians under bridges in Saudi sleeping on the fucking floor to touch the Saudi stone. This is not a joke anymore. It's happening to Iran today. It has happened to Lebanon. It has happened to Palestine. It can happen to you. You are not special when it comes to this imperialism and neocolonialism. You are not special.
Israel started firing missiles into Iran first. Israel started killing the Iranian citizens first, not the other way around. People need to get that straight. I've seen how the Western media and the Western politicians are trying to flip the narrative to make you and me believe Iran is to be blamed for this current situation. They are trying to make some of you out there believe that Iran is at fault in this current situation. That is a lie. Now, I understand there are some security concerns between Iran and the United States. I understand that. I understand that there are some security concerns between Israel and Iran. I understand that. But Iran never fired missiles into any country first. So please get that straight. And when people like myself and a few other people come out here to try to say the truth against what the evil Israel is doing, or to try to tell what Iran is doing, straight away we get labeled as supporting terror. We get labeled as supporting terrorism. We get labeled as supporting extremism. We get labeled as supporting Islam. What happens to your common sense? What happened to humanity? What happened to you telling the truth for once? What happened? Now, we saw how they tried to flip all the narrative that, Iran didn't achieve anything in this strike. Israel shut down almost everything that was fired into Iran. Absolute nonsense. Let me tell you something. We saw how Iran rubbished the so-called super duper fighter jet that belonged to the United States. The most protected and the most valuable asset, military asset to Israel. Iran destroyed 3 of it. The F-35 fighter jet. I saw a video of 2 of it being shot out of the sky. The 3rd one, I haven't seen the footage, but that had been confirmed. That plane is no more super duper. Now, is it? Iran knocked 3 out of the sky using the Russian provided S-400 air defense system. A lot of Western media, a lot of Western politicians were trying to claim that Iran was just freestyling with their missiles attack, which means they were just shooting the missiles into Israel without direction, without coordination, without precision. That is absolute nonsense. Let me tell you a few things Iran destroyed and hit inside Israel. You will be shocked. Stay with me. First, Iran struck the Ministry of Defense building twice. One of the most protected buildings in Israel. Iran struck it twice and a few top officials were deleted in that strike. But they won't tell you that. They are still trying to distract your attention from this. Now, we saw how Iran struck the headquarters of the IDF General Staff. That building was destroyed completely to the ground. So you want to tell me that was freestyling? Absolutely not. That was precision strike. We saw how Iran struck the Israel nuclear research site and they destroyed it completely. Now, I'm not saying that was the actual nuclear reactor or maybe they had some nuclear weapon there. No. That was the science research site. Iran destroyed it. You still want to call that freestyling? I don't think so. That was precision strike. We saw how Iran destroyed and attacked the Nevada air base deep inside Israel. One of the most protected air bases in Israel and in the world. Iran struck it twice. The scale of destruction to that Nevada air base, I don't know, but it was hit massively twice. Do you still call that freestyling? Absolute not. That was precision strike. We saw how Iran hit the Ramat air base in Israel, deep inside Israel. And again, another most secured military air base in the world. Iran struck it a couple of times. You still call that freestyling? I don't think so. That was a precision strike. Now, we saw how Israel hit the Palmachine, if I called it right, air base within Israel. Yet again, another most protected air base in the world. That air base was, if it's destroyed, I don't know, but it was hammered heavily during the Iranian strike. A lot of air defense system worth billions of US dollars were destroyed by Iran in that strike. And these are now giving Iran the upper hand in this fight because Iran can decide, well, if Iran decides to continue launching missiles at Israel, Israel is in trouble because their air defense system had been destabilized by Iran. Now, one thing I want to point out before I round up this video is this. Don't forget, Israel attacked Iran using the super duper F-35 fighter jet by crossing into Jordan and through Pakistan airspace to launch those missiles at Iran, right? Which obviously with a great and accurate precision, okay? And those commanders, like I said in my previous video, those commanders were sold out because somebody gave away their location. That is old news now. Let's forget about that. But the point I'm trying to make here is, do you know how far it is from Iran to Israel? And the Iranian people launched all their missiles, all their strike from within Iran and the little neighboring countries, all the way into Israel. Those missiles travel a great deal of distance to get to Israel. And they still did all those significant, unimaginable damages. That shows the Iranian scientists had improved. They have developed their missile system, and this shocked the entire Western alliance. Believe me, these are something some of you don't look at. This is something they don't want you to think or look at. The fear now is this. What if Iran had approached Israel with some form of fighter jet and then launching within a close range? Israel would be no more today. And eventually that is going to be the case. Believe me, eventually Iran is going to up the game to a different level. And from what I heard, Iran had continued to hammer Israel. I heard Afia, the seaport of Israel, was heavily devastated yesterday by Iran in a new wave of attack. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's support the truth. Let's support humanity. And those of you that come here try to come express your frustration because we talk about Israel or because we're trying to support Iran because Iran has not done anything wrong. Here, you call us supporting terror. Some of you say, oh, I'm supporting terrorism. I'm supporting extremism. I'm supporting Iran. I'm supporting Islam. What is your problem? What happened to your common sense? Use your head. Use your head. What do you guys have to say? Leave a comment. Let me know. We need to stop blaming Donald Trump. We should stop blaming Donald Trump because Donald Trump made his intention known that he was going to dump Ukraine if a deal was not reached. I guess the EU and Ukraine took him for a joke. And here we are. All the attention had completely and totally, fully shifted to the Middle East for obvious reasons. Zelensky himself acknowledged and accepted that the escalation between Israel and Iran had massively affected the support or the level of attention Ukraine is getting. He said the world had reduced the United States support for Ukraine. And the United States, Donald Trump, had fully and completely shifted away from Ukraine and focused on Israel. Instead of standing by Ukraine and continuing to support Ukraine with all those weapons he is sending to Israel. I think somebody needs to explain what is going on here to Zelensky. Zelensky doesn't understand the relationship between the United States and Israel. That is where he made a big mistake. Israel is the military base of the United States in the Middle East. That is a fact. That is something some of you don't like to hear, but it's the truth. Israel was created for the United States purposes. Israel is there for a reason, to continue to push the United States agenda in the Middle East. That is a fact. Whatever Israel does, United States will stand by Israel. Maybe until last minute, then United States will pull back. But we haven't got to that point. We haven't seen such a situation for a long time where Israel got themselves deep in trouble for United States to back off. That had not happened. Well, not in my own lifetime. So I don't suppose we will ever see that. Zelensky said the world had not been able to stop Vladimir Putin for almost 4 years. And he now accepts that only Donald Trump can make that happen. Only Donald Trump can stop Vladimir Putin. But Donald Trump had completely turned away from Ukraine. That is a lie, because Donald Trump did try it. If you're watching the video right now, we saw a few efforts that Donald Trump made. And we saw how Emmanuel Macron, Keir Starmer, the German Chancellor, Poland, and a few other countries continued to sabotage the peace process, continued to pour cold water in the effort Donald Trump was making. And people get tired. Donald Trump said it. We can't continue to blame the United States. Donald Trump said he was going to leave and abandon Ukraine. Obviously, after the mineral deal was signed, Donald Trump changed. Chameleon. Donald Trump changed completely. The guy is a businessman. What do you expect? He's a businessman. Zelensky said now it is obvious Russia cannot be stopped on the battlefield. For the first time, Zelensky said it. He made a statement today, the 15th of June 2025. He said, it is now obvious Russia cannot be stopped or defeated on the battlefield. The only way they can make Russian stop is to make Russian economy lose money in billions. Only then will Vladimir Putin be unable to continue funding its military campaign against Ukraine. Zelensky wants more sanctions to be placed on Russia, especially the Russian banking sector, the shadow fleet, and the oil sector. There is a problem in this because these are the basic amenities the European needs to survive. So they are not going to squeeze their own lives to support or to keep Zelensky going, would they? No, these are the things the Europeans need to continue to survive. They pretend in the open like they don't buy these things from Russia anymore. Some of you believe they are buying it in larger quantity than they ever did in their lives, and they are paying more for it. And here is Zelensky calling for them to sanction those industries or those sectors. It is not going to happen. I just don't know when this guy is going to wake up to reality. I think he is waking up now, but it is getting too late. And you know that. Zelensky also said the situation in the Middle East is driving up prices of gas and oil. Obviously, Iran had now stopped supplying oil to the West. They've completely stopped for the meantime their gas production because I heard Israel launched missile strike at one of the biggest Iranian oil refinery last night, the 14th of June 2025. And that refinery, at the point I was making this video, that refinery is still burning. They're still trying to contain the fire. Iran had stopped pumping oil or gas to any country. And guess what country is going to get hit the most, the hardest, if Iran completely stopped producing or pumping out oil and gas? China. And China would not accept that. China had already joined the game against Israel openly. The Chinese Boeing 747 have been reported to be landing back and back, to and fro, from China to Tehran since the last 2 days, carrying heavy military equipment and artillery system, air defense system, and a lot of other things that they would not tell us. China had openly joined the battle. United States is in full support of Israel. China had taken side with Iran. Underscore Russia, Russia, the rocket boy, North Korea, and a lot more other countries supporting Iran on the low. You know that. That is a fact. But if you want to see more on that update, I did the video earlier. Go look it up. So this is what Zelensky is saying. He said the situation in the Middle East is going to drive prices up, and that will make Russia richer. In a very short space of 30 days, Russia could hit multi-billions of dollars in just maybe the next 30 days. And this will allow them to continue to fund the war against Ukraine. This is something Zelensky is not afraid of, because the longer it gets, the more Russia is taking, the more harsher the conditions Russia will put forward will be. NATO, let's come to NATO. NATO experts, listen. You people need to listen. Listen. NATO experts and European defense and defense industries representative acknowledge, for the first time ever, they've decided to acknowledge, they've decided to tell us the truth. I knew the truth right from the beginning. Some of you knew the truth, but to those of you that have been blindfolded with Western BBC, ITV, and all those nonsense, let me tell you what NATO said. NATO experts, European defense and defense industries representatives stated that the West was not prepared for what they got themselves in. They were only prepared for a short, limited time. A short, limited scale operation. But they have eventually found themselves in a bad, vulnerable position in this war between Ukraine and Russia. If I was to elaborate on that comment or that statement that was made, trust me, I would make a 1-hour video. But let's leave it there for now. They said they made a big mistake. They were only prepared for a short time kind of scale of conflict with Russia. But they found themselves in a very bad, vulnerable position right now. What does that tell you? I'm not the one saying it. People go, oh, Big Shai said it. Big Shai said that. You're a propagandist. You're a propaganda. This was said by NATO and the NATO defense and defense industry representative. The people that are behind all of the things they give Ukraine. They said they made a big mistake. They were only prepared for a short-scale operation, but they now found themselves in a very bad, vulnerable position. Let me round up with something really briefly on the next update. Let me give you a taste of what is coming in the next update. Russia carried out a massive missile strike all over the territories of Ukraine in the early hours of this morning, the 15th of June 2025. Combination of drones and missiles was used to attack Ukraine. And once again, Russia focused more on the northeastern part of Ukraine. A lot of oil refineries and energy infrastructures were damaged and destroyed by Russia. Look out for that update. That should follow after this update. For the meantime, let me know what you guys think. NATO admitted they made a mistake. They are in a very bad, vulnerable position. Zelensky is lamenting, screaming, shouting that the United States and the West had abandoned Ukraine completely. And he wants United States to sideline Israel and take on Ukraine. Something that I think would never happen. But what do you think? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that could happen. Let me know what you think in the comment section.